Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday and where the hell we are today?
Well, yesterday we read Jeremiah chapter 44.
We sure as fuck did.
And in that chapter, God was like, y'all brought this on yourselves. Mm-hmm. You were worshiping idols and that's why all the bad shit happened. And then they were like, no, we were worshiping idols, and that's when all the good shit happened.
And they were like all up about the Queen of Heaven.
Yeah.
And the Asherah poles just never seemed to go away.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. And God was like, I'm going to kill all you fuckers here in Israel unless you run away back to
Egypt.
Oh, yeah, in Egypt. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then unless you run away back to Israel. Mm-hmm. And then he never did.
Right.
At least, according to your research anyway.
Yeah.
So Nebuchadnezzar tried, mm-hmm. but didn't succeed.
Correct.
So,
and also, what did happen though is the king, Pharaoh, whoever guy, Apries,
right,
Hophra,
yeah,
of Egypt. He did get assassinated or whatever.
Well, he got replaced, and then he ran away, and then he came back, and they killed him in battle.
Yeah,
probably.
Right.
So
by the captain of his father's guard.
Right. Who then was a good king, apparently. Or at least an effective king at the very least.
Effective, yeah.
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was Jeremiah chapter 44.
And that was also the final chapter in that narrative.
Yeah.
So that bears...
I am very interested to see how this all plays out post...
narrative.
Post that narrative, yeah. And post, does Jeremiah even speak from here forward? I don't know.
We've got 8 chapters left.
And it's still the book of Jeremiah, yeah, right. So this should be interesting.
Exactly.
So anyway, that was Jeremiah chapter 44.
Yes, it was.
Which means that today we're getting into...
Jeremiah chapter 45.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, we are getting into Jeremiah chapter 45.
Okay.
But a couple notes real quick.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Obviously, we just finished a narrative.
We did.
So we're like, oh, if we finish that narrative and that was the last time that Jeremiah
speaks or whatever
spoke to the people, then what's left?
Right, yeah.
So this chapter actually goes back in time.
Okay.
And do you remember that time period when Jeremiah was like, hey, Baruch, I can't go into that temple area. Can you go over there and read this shit out loud for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is. Okay?
Why are we jumping back there? Like, this makes no sense.
You would have to ask Baruch. He's the one that put all of this in order.
Oh, we know that for like that. Like, that's a thing.
That's
like,
a thing.
Okay.
That's a thing. And I'll tell you more when we get into this. Okay.
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 Right.
I just wanted to tell you when this takes place.
Yeah.
Okay. So the word that Jeremiah the prophet spoke to Baruch, the son of Neriah, when he had written these words in a book at the instruction of Jeremiah in the 4th year of Joachim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, to you, O Baruch." And it's like, oh, excuse me. Like, Baruch gets his own special message.
Right.
That's part of why it came later, because Baruch was like...
Is Baruch is this like post Jeremiah's influence, and like Baruch's like, I'm going to get some influence in myself here?
Maybe. Maybe not, though.
Okay.
Okay, let me read what he says to him, and then you decide for yourself.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, this is Jeremiah speaking to Baruch as God. Okay. You said, "Woe is me now, Baruch, for the Lord has added grief to my sorrow. I fainted in my sighing and I find no rest." So basically he's like, Baruch, you were whining and getting upset and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thus you shall say to him, God is telling Jeremiah
to tell Baruch.
Yeah. "Thus says the Lord, behold, what I have built, I will break down, and what I have planted, I will pluck up. That is this whole land. And do you seek great things for yourself? Do not seek them, for behold, I will bring adversity on all flesh, says the Lord, but I will give your life to you as a prize in all places wherever you go." The end.
Oh, that was the end of the chapter?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, Jesus,
this is like might as well call this a psalm.
I know. But here's the thing. Like, this actually makes Baruch not look good. Like, the fact that he included this, he's like, I was like really in my feels about what was happening. Like, I was not thrilled. Everything about me was going to shit. My buddy was in jail. I was in danger.
Right.
Our reputations were ruined. And, I was moaning and groaning, and God heard that.
Yeah.
And told fucking Jeremiah to deliver me, not Israel, not the Jews, not all of Judah, not kings and stuff, but me personally.
Yeah.
A message from God to stop all that, to stop fussing.
I don't know. But if you're Jeremiah, right? I feel like it's hard to stop that. Like, if you're constantly talking for God, and that's your whole way of communicating your ideas is like to say what God told you to say.
Right. Then you're going to
if you want Baruch to stop whining.
God says stop whining. But the fact that Baruch didn't put it in order, left it out, and went ahead and included it, and then included it later after Jeremiah's story was basically done.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't do any favors for Baruch except to make him look more upstanding and like, wow, good on you, sir. I would not have included that.
Right, I guess. I don't know. I mean, but I still wonder how this is going to play out. Is it if he's going to try to gain a little bit more notoriety?
Well, here's the thing. Let me read you some of my notes.
Okay. Yeah.
My notes are basically as long as the chapter.
Got it.
Which isn't much.
Right.
So this happened during the 4th year of Joachim, which was 605 BCE.
Okay.
So, I mean, we were way back, like 30 years ago or whatever.
Right.
And this part should have followed chapter 36. Okay. The previous chapters in this section, that narrative that we just read, those dealt with the time after the fall of Jerusalem and Judah, whereas this chapter deals with a time many years before that catastrophe.
Right.
Duh.
Right. Yeah.
Jeremiah gave this word of encouragement to his assistant Baruch on the occasion when Baruch had to read the scroll of God's judgments to the people. So remember I told you that Jeremiah was like, dude, can you go read this shit for me?
Right.
Okay. So Baruch is lamenting because this is right after the king had given an order to take both Baruch and Jeremiah in order that they might be put to death at the instance of his nobles.
Right.
So they had just been sentenced to death.
Right. And I can see from Baruch's point of view, like,
this is
what the
bullshit.
fuck have I got myself into here?
Yes. Yes. Now let me read a few more notes and then we'll discuss again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So Baruch was an educated man, qualified as a secretary, whose brother was an officer of high rank under Zedekiah.
Okay.
He probably had entertained hopes of some distinction in the nation, perhaps of attaining a high office, or even of receiving the gift of prophecy himself, like being named a prophet or something. He came from an affluent and very educated family. And, you know,
sure,
he probably grew up being told you're going to do great things because that's just the way it is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But whatever great things he sought for himself were forfeited by his loyal support of Jeremiah.
Sure.
So Baruch was thinking how his unpopular announcements might affect his own security or advancement. But Jeremiah comes along and tells him, dude, when divine judgment falls on Judah, you're going to be thankful enough just to come out of it alive.
Right.
Like, that's what we were supposed to take from that. See, I took it differently. When I was reading it, I thought that God was telling Jeremiah to tell Baruch, you know, hey, don't worry about it. Whatever happens, you're still going to live. It's going to be okay. You're going to survive.
Right.
But what every single note taker took out of it was, you're going to be grateful just to be alive. Not just, don't worry, you'll be okay, you'll survive, and you'll just be glad to have done so.
Right. And I question, he must have lived. Like, if they say that he put the book together, right? Like, there was this whole thing that happened when they're heading into Egypt. He must have lived. One of them must have lived. Yeah. At the very least. Yeah. And, you know, since we don't hear from Jeremiah, I'm assuming Baruch lived, right? Yeah. And so at least he lived, I guess. Like, he was told he would live. He was definitely not in a good position there because they thought he was part of that whole double agent shit too. Yeah. So like they thought he was part of this problem. Right. And I would imagine that if he did make it out of that situation, that he was lucky to get out of that situation. Right. So,
which kind of goes along with what he said that Jeremiah told him. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what to think. I don't think that he was trying to paint himself in a good light because he didn't. Right. And I don't think that he was trying to attain anything with this because he didn't.
Right. But it would make sense to me also, like, and I don't know where this is going to go from here towards the end of the book of Jeremiah.
I don't either. I have not read ahead. I don't have notes ahead.
Right. But I would imagine that if Baruch did live through that ordeal in heading into Egypt, that, you know, with his ideas and his aspirations of becoming more, he probably wanted to sell his, you know, what Jeremiah did for good. Right. And that's maybe why this book is so prominent and why it made it into things. Because maybe Baruch did a good sales job after the fact. Okay. Maybe he ran to Babylon and then went and, you know, like the people over in Egypt obviously didn't like him, right?
Right. So well, the Jewish people in Egypt. Right, yeah. I mean, so, I don't know how the Egyptians felt.
Yeah. So maybe he spent another 10 days running back to Babylon and then went with the remnant that actually was captured in by the Babylonians, and maybe he stayed with them and said, and like he's like, forget this Egypt crowd. I'm going to just pitch the story over here because, you know, maybe they'll listen and see how right Jeremiah was. Right. You know,
that could actually be
right.
That actually tracks.
And from their point of view, they would still see Babylon heading to attack Egypt, and they'd be like, well, yeah, it's still coming true. He's still predicting that stuff. Yeah. You know, like this is all correct. Yeah. So he has a good sales pitch, you know?
That's true. That's true. And painting himself as humble and not looking for anything more does paint him in the light of believability for the people that he's trying to be a salesman to.
Right. And his name, we're still talking about it 2,000 years later.
That's true.
You know? So, I mean, he did something right to have his name remembered 2,000 years later.
That is true. And, you are right.
You know, I just saying.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this was such a short chapter. Yeah. And I mean, it was like maybe 10 sentences, But
Well, I think we were clamoring to talk about Baruch too. So
but I didn't know until I was reading my notes that that's what this was about.
Right.
And yeah, definitely very, very interesting to be so short and to find out there are still questions about Baruch.
Yeah.
We kind of know what happened to Jeremiah, but what happened to Baruch?
Right. Right.
So I'm not sure what our Q&A is going to be about, but I am going to be looking to see if there is any mention or legend of Baruch, and I am going to look into some legends about Jeremiah.
And did we need to look into any more of the history of the wars going on back then, or did you cover most of that already?
I covered most of that in yesterday's episode, I think.
Gotcha.
So it kind of took care of itself.
Sure.
That was going to be a question that we looked into, but
right. Yep.
No need to now.
All right. Well, that was Jeremiah chapter 45.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that we will be back tomorrow on Saturday with
Q&A Saturday. Not sure what I'm gonna cover, but we'll see.
Right. And then on Sunday, we didn't do a book club last week, so I'm assuming maybe that's what we're doing?
That is correct.
So,
we will be doing Sacrilegious Book Club.
All right. And then I will get the weekly wrap-up out, and then we'll be back on Monday with
Jeremiah chapter 46, and who even knows what's that's about and who's in it.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
I am too, which is a nice thing to be able to say.
Yeah. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.